AJ.
What up, playa?
AJ. Praise.
Yes, master.
Only 1 week till Halloween, my friend. 1 week.
Yeah, buddy. I've been celebrating all month, though. I've been getting it.
I'm good.
Getting after it.
Good for you. That's a little personal, but I mean
look,
that's fine. Yeah.
I mean, look, you have to celebrate all month long.
Hell
like,
yeah.
This is like my Christmas, or okay, I'll stop there. I don't want to reveal anything else.
Hell yeah, man! This is absolutely. I'm 100% with you, man. Like the Halloween season began October 1st, if not earlier, and I've been trying to watch as many horror TV shows and movies and horror video games and everything else as I possibly can to, I would say, moderate to okay success. This has not been a phenomenal year for new movies or new shows, but it's been some good stuff, and I've been having some fun all month long. Right alongside with
it. The scariest thing I've done is I've played the Quest 2.
Oh my God.
And I liked it. Da-na-na! Kind of. Sort of. Okay. Only a little bit.
This is a very, very interesting take we've got here. Okay. All right. Well, then, by all means, let's get the show started. This is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live in a nice relaxed state. Has everyone meditated yet today? 6 p.m.
Not
Eastern.
really. Apparently, I scared Hector Robles. He said I had this tab open, and AJ creeped me out for a second.
Yeah.
While
You scared all of us.
Halloween.
Let's be fair. Scared us all. 6 p.m. Eastern, right here. If you like watching with your eyes, then you're in the right place. And if you like watching with your eyes with timestamps, come back a little bit later after timestamp Gamecat Henry. That's not his name. Puts timestamps into the description of this video. And if you're like some cats out there and like watching with your ears, yeah, that's actually right. Right. If you like oral satisfaction, AJ, don't forget that you can listen to this on podcast services of your choice. Because after the show is over, sirens on my end, J Meow gets this thing up on podcast services of your choice. My name is Brian Paul from the channel right here, PSVR without Parole. And this gentleman over here to my right, it's AJ from the Underground, PSVR Underground.
What is up, man? Hey, guess what?
Oh, what?
I bought my very first PlayStation VR2 game. Yeah, I did. Resident Evil Village, baby. Because Capcom has said that, and they better not be lying about
They're
this.
a bunch of fucking liars.
But Capcom has said that the PlayStation 5 version of Resident Evil Village is playable. So I was actually really tempted to get the Resident Evil 4 Collector's Edition remake thing, but we don't know the extent of the VR support. I believe it's going to be the full campaign, but I didn't know that, so I said, you know what, I need to buy something else to satisfy my buying itch, and so this was on sale for Amazon for $30. Picked it up, really cheap price, I think, for what it is, and I'm really excited. Cannot wait. Day one, we'll be playing this on PSVR2, no doubt, or day two, depending on how busy I am with all that stuff. What is up, Brian? What is up, Game Cats? Happy Monday. And I know that Mondays usually suck, but we are here to make your Monday suck just a little bit less.
Oh, this doesn't work from anyone else's perspective other than mine. I'm crushing your head, but it looks like I'm crushing my head. This isn't working at all.
This much less.
God damn. Fantastic, AJ. Thanks for that brief update. Sounds like you've had an exciting week purchasing PlayStation VR2 games.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just got this bad boy today.
All right. Yeah, it's exciting, man. It's exciting. I hope that Capcom's not like that wording. That wording like really does imply like there will be no additional charge, and you've got to figure it's the same deal as Resident Evil 7, where like Sony threw them a bunch of money and we're like, don't worry, we're paying for development costs. You don't have anything to recoup here, and so hopefully, even though it's a complete VRAF overhaul. Looper, the underground game cat with the €2, makes an excellent point, AJ. He says, but you already own No Man's Sky. So you bought your first PSVR2 game like fucking 6 years ago, dude.
In 2016, I pre-ordered that shit back in 2016. Well, to be fair, the PlayStation VR2 started development in 2016. So it's technically kind of true, but I'm just going to pretend like this is my first PSVR2 purchase.
Well, we also have Emily Baxter here. Hashtag the cartoony witch game kitten rare with a $2 tip says weekend is over. I'm so sorry for anyone whose weekend is over. My weekend is also over. My weekend lasted like a month though, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. And cartoony games still suck. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to hear that. I wish something had changed. AJ, we like to thank a whole lot of cats around here each and every day because we could not do this without them. If there weren't people watching and donating generously like Joey VR with the $2 tip saying, you think Resident Evil 7 PlayStation 5 edition will be PSVR 2? Yes, I do personally.
Well, going by what their website says, which says the PS5 version will be playable on PSVR 2, I'd imagine so. Yes.
Wrong game. Resident Evil 7 PlayStation 5 edition, not the Village, Biohazard.
Oh, that's a good question. I think we're going to get into that a little bit later, actually. But here's my quick take: is that I think Resident Evil has that IP, that franchise, has the chance to save all of VR. If every Resident Evil game got VR support built from the ground up for PSVR 2, and it would be amazing. And that's the hope and the dream. I was gonna say I wouldn't need any other game, but that's really not true because I play a lot of games. I need a lot of games.
You started strong, but we kind of fizzled out halfway through. I thought we were in for an amazing rant. If it wasn't for people like Joey VR and all the other cats who helped this channel run, obviously Patreon supporters, all of the fucking people out there, we can't do this without you. Besides those, though, there's a whole other group of people every Monday we like to recognize, isn't there, AJ?
That's right, Brian. We would like to thank those who support us in another way by changing their name to something Gamecat, something Gamecat related, or something Gamecat adjacent, as you at something Gamecat adjacent like to say. And this week we have 3 new Gamecats to welcome to the Gamecat Dojo. Starting with Spooky Hootie Gamecat.
Bing. Is he the first one to change his name for Halloween?
I don't know.
I think so.
I know we're doing it all in the Discord. We've all got a Halloween theme going in our Discord. What is that theme? Join our Discord and find out.
Spoilers.
You won't know until you join.
Spoilers. It's ooze.
Damn it. Damn it, man.
I changed mine. I'm sick of the ooze, man. I'm sick of the ooze. The Secret of the Ooze was one of the worst fucking Turtles movies ever.
I can quote that like entire movie.
Oh, listen, that doesn't make that doesn't make it good, AJ.
Look, I'm afraid to watch it again, but I loved that movie in the 90s. I'm not going to lie.
No. Even when I was a kid, I was like, this is garbage. The first one still holds up, man. The first TMNT movie, original one.
I don't know about special effects wise, but
no, dude, what special effects? It's like there's barely any in there. It's all good. The action is great. The storytelling is awesome. There's even Raphael. Is it Raphael? He's like super emo. He's like sitting in a bathtub, all depressed for half the movie. I'm like, this dude's my turtle right here. All right, but
I don't think he was depressed. I thought he was like half dead.
There was that, but he's
always the one that gets captured and beaten up because he acts tough, but he's really a bitch.
Weren't they also like mourning like Splinter was like kidnapped and shit, and so like they were all like fucking down and depressed about that shit.
Okay, maybe. I don't know.
All right. Who's next
Casey
after
Jones.
Who's next after Spooky Hootie?
We've also got Gamecat, formerly known as Time to Play, pulling a little Prince thing here.
That's right. That's right. He's got a different name that he's going by in different places. Like I See the Light or something like that. It's like I feel like he needs to embrace that. He needs to embrace it. But you know what? You do you, Gamecat, formerly known as Time to Play, and I'll do me, and then AJ will do Halloween, like right up the butt.
Finally, last but certainly not least, we've got serial killer, the Happy Together Gamecat.
Bing.
Damn it! My pitch was a little off there. It was hard.
Oh yeah, man. He's celebrating an anniversary with his wife. They've been together, like not married for 23 years, but together for 23 years or something along those lines. Sorry, I'm terrible with numbers. Also terrible with memories. But congratulations, serial killer and Mrs. Serial Killer. Very good stuff. AJ, while I'm clearing the screen of these wonderful names, which, by the way, if you change your name to Gamecat on YouTube or Google, make sure you put hashtag Gamecat somewhere in the comments below so we can give you a shout out next Monday's show. AJ, while I'm clearing the screen of this craziness, this mess, can you do me a favor and read Grizzly Bear King's tip?
Yeah, I certainly can. Grizzly Bear, what up? Oh, Grizzly Bear King, the king of the Grizzly Bears. What up, homie? With $5. Thank you so much for donating $5 to us. It means a lot, and it helps keep the lights on. He says, LSM appearance soon. They need a little more VR educating over there because they believe Index is far superior to PSVR2.
Am I missing? What's LSM?
I don't know. I was hoping you'd answer that.
LSM appearance soon. Industrial Light and Magic? No, that's different.
No, that's ILM X Lab.
Well, I also know that it's not.
Okay, so as soon as we figure out what LSM is,
Yep.
God, we're so dumb.
Why
do we do this?
I don't know. Let's read. Hey, listen, Grizzly Bear, help us out, man, and let us know what we're missing out on. It's gonna be something like really dumb too, like something that you and I obviously should have known. But in the meantime, let's read Scott Thorpe's tip with the £5. Says 2/3 of the way through your paranormal activity stream, £5. £5 for the new pair of underwear I'm sure you need after some of those jumps. AJ, when's the last time you played Paranormal Activity? The VR, the Lost Souls.
I did it a few times for Saturday Night Live streams.
That doesn't probably help me. How long ago?
Within the last year, sometime.
Okay. I don't think it had been all that long since I had played it, but dude, like I went in today. So first of all, I started the stream pretty fucking irritated because OBS had this big update, and the update we're like, oh, great. Yeah, it basically was like, oh yeah, you can't like use your graphics card to stream because we're fucking dumb. And so not only was I irritated from like the OBS update, but on top of that, so that got me started like 15 minutes late. And then I get in there and I'm thinking, all right, listen, I've played this game like 1,000 times. There's no way in hell I'm going to get scared by anything. This is going to be a boring stream. And I'm just gonna and I feel like I'm just gonna go through the motions here, and it's not gonna be any fun. Fortunately, I was so wrong about that, dude. Those randomized scares, I swear to you, there were a couple things I felt like I had never seen before. The doors opening and closing when I don't remember them ever having done that. There was this whole mirror scare, which maybe had happened prior, but I just never saw it before, dude. I jumped quite a few times, embarrassingly, in front of lots of people.
Yeah, funnily enough, it was more scary. The first time I played through it, I was like, okay, that was cool and fun, but it's not very scary. And actually, when I played it again for Saturday Night Live streams, it's like you said, I think I did the hell mode or something, and I made it like more random encounters or whatever, and yeah, it was much more scary several times after the first time playing it, actually. And you know, I guess that's the double-edged sword of randomized jump scares or whatever. Sometimes you get a lesser, like kind of a less intense experience, and sometimes it can be like batshit crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the donation, Scott Thorpe. And also, now that we know what LSM means, he's actually talking about Colin's channel, Last Stand Media. And yeah, so the last time, the only time I was on Colin's channel, we were talking about PSVR1. He mentioned getting me back on there for because he wanted to focus on PSVR1 that time. He wants me to get it back on there when we get closer to PSVR2. So I'll hit him up and see when he wants to do that. Yeah, I don't, but the thing is like, don't forget that, like, I do kind of exist in a little bit of a bubble, right? Like, when I'm not like much of a tech person. And so, like, if we start talking about like this PC VR headset or that PC VR headset, I'm not going to be the guy who goes, oh, I know the difference between this and that and like the reasons that PSVR2 stand above and beyond. I'm going to be the guy that goes, play these fucking games, man, because these games are killer. I'm a gamer.
Yeah, there's
I'm
a
not
lot
tech
of
guy.
people. There's a lot of people in the VR space that are about the technology, and that's great. That's what helps evolve the platform and everything. But I mean, while I love some of the features and like I really do, I care about the games, man. That's why you're here. That's why you're here watching us, because you care about console quality gaming in VR. And that's what we're after. That's what we're looking for, and that's what we'll always know best. But I still, that being said, I mean, I get into a little bit of the technical stuff, and yeah, I don't know. It's iffy because sometimes people will say like, well, this is technically better, and it doesn't look it doesn't look better to me or something, like, you know what I mean? It's kind of, to me, it's about how it feels, or how it just looks to the plain eye, or how it feels versus, there's all these little technical jargon things that just sometimes don't matter to me. Sorry.
I love the
There's
cats,
my
man.
rant you were looking for.
Emily Baxter says LSM comes after LSD. Mark Pringlesleeve said LSM equals Let's Stream Mondays. Emily says LSM equals Leisure Suit Mary.
I like it.
This is a good little tangent. But Grizzly Bear King with the official $10 tip saying LSM is Colin Moriarty's channel. Also, I came here looking for the best with PSVR2 just months away. Should you buy PSVR1 in 2022 podcast? And that's exactly what I found. I'm so glad you found just what you were looking for, my friend.
Oh yeah, perfect timing.
You might be a bear king, but I'm a cat king. Let's do this, fuckers. Hey, let's skip the next story, AJ, because it's dumb, and let's go right into this interesting story that we got from IGN today. And is this it? This isn't it. This is not it.
For the record, he's skipping Blockstar VR's now PSVR2 game.
For the record, go fuck yourself. What are you giving up all my secrets for, AJ?
Is the game dumb, or is the topic dumb?
The topic was pretty dumb, but obviously there's a bunch of conversations we could have about all these games jumping ship to PSVR 2. Here we go. This article comes to us from IGN. Ryan Dinsdale over at IGN, obviously a made-up name. Says Fallout 4 is getting an Xbox Series X/S and PS5 upgrade next year. Says Bethesda has announced that Fallout 4 is coming to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S with an official next generation update next year. As part of the Fallout 25th anniversary celebration, Bethesda released a blog post that announced the long-awaited free update that's also coming to PC. Arriving 8 years after Fallout 4 was first released. 8 years, AJ. It feels like we should just get a remaster, or this should be the second remaster at this point. The update includes a performance mode that allows for higher frame rates, a quality mode for 4K graphics, plus bug fixes, and more Creation Club content, which is Bethesda's official mod support. Developer didn't reveal a specific date or window for Fallout 4's next-gen update, nor did it give a full list of features, but it will also likely include console-specific upgrades, such as the use of PlayStation 5's haptic feedback. AJ, why are we talking about this?
I don't know.
I had a feeling you might not.
Well, no, obviously it's because, Microsoft has bought Bethesda, and we've basically expected nothing, like no more support for PlayStation 5 or anything PlayStation moving forward. but and I know where you're going to go with this, and you're wrong.
Well, I mean, number one, like, I when I saw this news today, I was surprised. I was absolutely surprised, right? I was like, what? I mean, so first of all, the game's 7 years old. And I was like, and also PS5 is 2 years old. By the time this thing comes out, it's going to be 2.5 years old, probably, right? It's like, so the whole thing just feels really strange. Like, why didn't we already get this update? If like, and I guess obviously the thing that initially jumped out to me was like, now that Bethesda is owned by Microsoft, you would expect them to kind of be holding back these special features or next gen upgrades for Xbox, for the Xbox ecosystem or the PC ecosystem, that kind of stuff, and just kind of keep it away from us. You don't think this has anything to do with PSVR 2? I was trying to avoid that as long as possible. I was like, you know what, fuck it, we're running late. Let's just get right into it. No PSVR 2 support, AJ. What the fuck's going on here?
I don't think so, because I think by this point they would. Okay, the only way it could happen is if this was a deal that was made a long time ago.
Yep.
And so there is a small possibility. But I think unless this was created a long time ago, then there is actually an even bigger chance of this being like on a Microsoft headset or something, or Microsoft supported headset before it comes to PSVR 2.
I mean, here's what I think is probably easy to miss. Throughout the course of the PSVR1 lifespan, we talked a lot about the potential of Fallout 4 coming to PlayStation VR 1. There was a GameStop leak, supposedly, in their catalog. There was cover art and everything, an official box, PlayStation 4 box that said PlayStation VR support right across the top of it. There were like supposed leaks, supposed rumors, like everything else, and it seemed like it kind of, and especially with Bethesda's support of PSVR 1, right? We eventually got a Doom 3 VR, but we got Doom VFR. We got Skyrim. So it wasn't like Bethesda wasn't supporting PlayStation VR. And if we get Skyrim, like obviously Fallout seemed pretty possible as well. What seemed like happened is that, and this is just all speculation, obviously, but what seemed like happened was that Sony was like, guys, we would love it if you get Fallout 4 over here on PlayStation VR 1. And they were like, okay. And like work was progressing, and then some kind of wrench got thrown in the works, and it seemed like it wasn't going to happen. Things weren't working out the way they were supposed to. They were getting closer and closer to a launch date, and we're like, guys, I don't think we can get this done. As is, Skyrim was a PS3 title originally. Fallout 4 was never on PS3, right? So you are dealing with, even if it's a somewhat outdated game engine, a completely separate console generation. What I'm betting happened is they were like, you know what, screw it. Just if you can't make it work, you can't make it work. Let's get this thing up and running as a PSVR 2 launch title.
Well,
there's a lot of speculation there, AJ. I just told a nice little story.
New article that's going to pop up tomorrow now because you another one of your crazy theories.
Whoa! Hey!
None of the real facts about anything you ever say make it to the websites, but shit like this does. So just tread lightly. No, I'm just kidding, man. Yeah, I just don't know, man. I mean, we couldn't even get a freaking tiny little patch for Doom 3 after. Now,
well, don't forget that Doom 3 had nothing to do with Bethesda, really.
Well, sort of. I mean, they called the shots of what it is, and that's the thing is, I know for a fact, because speaking with developers, I know for a fact there are developers at Bethesda that like VR, that want to create VR, but at the end of the day, they work for other people that tell them what to make. So, and it kind of seems like that's why, that's why we don't get some of these things won't happen. Like I said, to me, in my opinion, the only way this happens is if this was some kind of deal created a long time ago, and that's about it.
And that's my feeling. I feel like it was a deal created a long time ago, that this was always something in the works. This was always something we were meant to have. And when it didn't work out, they said, listen, like, it's fine. Just make it happen next gen. And so I do feel like this deal could go back a real long time to the very beginning of those Fallout 4 PSVR1 rumors. Again, pure speculation. I think it's fun. I like to see that Bethesda is still supporting PlayStation 5 or the PlayStation ecosystem, despite the fact that they've obviously been purchased, along with all of ZeniMax. So I just don't. How long did Microsoft own Mojang for?
Right, that is the one like anomaly. Right. Is Minecraft came to PSVR somehow? I have no idea how. But again, that to me, that just screams like some kind of deal made prior. And
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like at this point, Microsoft would pay money to cancel a Fallout 4, because I mean, imagine the from a PR perspective, and like investors and stuff, you're like promoting one of your flagship titles on another platform. It just doesn't make practical sense to me.
Yeah, it could be. I just think that. Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. From a PR standpoint, it seems like Xbox is getting the same upgrades that the PlayStation is getting. The graphical upgrades that most of their core audience is looking for. Microsoft doesn't have a VR headset to compete with, right? So they may not even look at the PSVR2 as any kind of actual competition, because they're not interested in VR. It's sort of like when all these, like when Sega and everybody were developing games for the Game Boy or the Game Boy Advance, because they were out of the portable market at that point, right? It's like they're still making shit for other people, even though they've got a competing console. I don't know. There could be some loopholes here. There could be some things that Microsoft just doesn't care about. I don't know. We'll find out soon enough, I guess. But it's good to see we're getting the PS5 upgrades.
On my list of things I'm getting tired of talking about, number 1 is Showcase, and number 2 is Microsoft. We talk about it so much just because it comes up, and it's it's just what happens to be on the news. But God, I'm so tired of talking about Microsoft and what they'll do
if they keep buying fucking crazy big publishers and tons of little dev studios and shit, man. Like, we're never gonna stop talking about them. So I would say get used to it. All right, man. But the big question of the day, as Grizzly Bear King pointed out earlier, I don't know if you noticed this, AJ, but if you look around, you may notice that over there behind you, there it is. Yeah, the PSVR1, the Iron Man bundle, the PSVR1 Iron Man bundle is on sale for like $200 in a whole lot of places.
$200? Holy shit! Hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta buy one of those.
Nice. And so the logical question comes up: should you be considering a PSVR1 in 2022? And I know that that's a very vague question that we need to get a whole lot more details for to answer. But let's kind of dive into this real quick here. I went over to PlayStation.com. This is the PlayStation Store, the official store. So if you want to get it directly from Sony, you can do it from PlayStation.com. You can also go to BestBuy.com. You can go to Target. You can go to Walmart. All of these places, these are some of the biggest retailers in the world. They've all got the PlayStation VR Iron Man bundle for $200. And that includes the PlayStation VR headset, the PlayStation camera, the PlayStation camera adapter, which if you've got a PlayStation 5, you're definitely going to need. 2 PlayStation Move controllers, which are still retailing for $100 for a pair. The PlayStation VR Demo Collection 3, so the third demo disc voucher, an AC adapter, AC power cable, HDMI cable, USB cable, stereo headphones, and cleaning cloth. Of course, if I didn't say it, also Iron Man VR, a voucher for the game. So digital version, if that makes a difference to anybody out there. Hard to Get says, amazing price with the PlayStation Moves included. I agree, this might be one of the best deals we've ever seen for PlayStation VR 1. It's one of these things that came out and it was expensive and sort of fluctuated. You and I, AJ, were talking in voice chat and Discord the other day about some moments. Like PlayStation VR had moments And some of those moments included really amazing sales, but they were temporary sales, right? And it was like, oh, this site has it for this, or this it's a Christmas special, or it's a Black Friday thing, right? I don't know if we've ever seen 4 major retailers simultaneously have the Iron Man bundle, games, Move controllers, the whole thing, $200. This might be the best deal we've ever seen for PSVR2. PSVR1.
Yeah.
It's not PSVR2.
It is definitely a great deal. Absolutely. I'm going to say no, don't buy it, because I want to make sure I can grab one. I need a backup.
Well, we can wait, man. Just go buy it now, and we'll just wait for you to get
it. To be honest with you, I already have 2 PSVR2s. I have a V1 and a V2.
We just say PSVR2 all the time now, right? I feel like we say PSVR2 so frequently, even when we mean PSVR1, we say PSVR2 because we both just did it in the last 2 minutes.
Oh, did I say that? Oh,
yep.
Or are you sure it wasn't? I thought I said I have 2 PSVRs.
There's got to be a fact checker here in the.
I might have said 2, like TOO.
Hashtag Gamecat Army. Somebody scroll back.
I have 2 PSVRs as well. Is that better?
Serial killer in the chat says Brian said it first. PSVR2 is $200. Oh man.
Yeah, man. So what's the questions surrounding this thing?
You said okay. Well, dude, let's tackle the easiest question first, and it might not be the easiest question. I think the very first question we should ask is the PSVR1 hardware, everything you get in this bundle, is the PlayStation VR1 hardware still a good purchasing decision, a still good choice by 2022 standards?
Well, that depends on about 5,000 things.
Okay, well let's break it down, man. That's what we're here for. If there was nothing, then we wouldn't have a show. If there's 5,000 things, I think we have a show.
I mean, is the PSVR1 Iron Man bundle a good value at $200? Yes.
Is the
hardware still good by 2022 standards?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that kind of depends, because there are 3 different PlayStations that can play the PlayStation VR2. You have the PS4, the PS4 Pro, and the PS5. Personally, I feel like the best console you can have for a PSVR Gen 1, No Man's Sky and Dreams aside, I would definitely say a PS4 Pro. I think the PS4, the base PS4, absolutely not up to standards at this day and age. But the PS4 Pro, and in even some cases the PS5, are. Like, games look good on the PS4 Pro and PS5. Games can look good.
Agreed. I actually think that. To me, I don't think it matters which PlayStation you have. If you have a OG PlayStation 4, if you have a Pro, if you have a PS5, I still think that the hardware measures up. I still think that VR is still in its infancy, despite the fact that there's some really cutting edge VR headsets out there, mostly for PC. There's not a whole lot of people taking advantage of that technology, right? And then, and especially when you're looking at the other competitors in the same price range, I don't think we've really gotten out of the PSVR 1 or VR or first gen VR infancy yet, if you consider that whole generation 1, in which I don't know if people do or not. Because the OG PS4, man, like that, I think all of us, or most of us, I'm not sure about everybody in the chat, most of us started PSVR1 over on the OG PS4 and eventually upgraded to the Pro. I think a lot of us upgraded to the Pro because of PSVR. And even on the OG PS4, I was very, very happy with my experience. A lot of games still looked crystal clear. A lot of games still played fantastic. Even things like Resident Evil 7 that had foveated rendering. That is like the center of your lenses was like super clear, but everything else was kind of blurry. After a few minutes, like you don't even notice that anymore, right? And so, and then you talk about the Pro, and that kind of fixes everything. And talked about the PlayStation 5, which a few games are better and a few games are worse, right? A few games have some technical problems. So I think there's benefits to each and every single one console, but I think they're they're all fine with PSVR 1.
Yeah, I'd have to say for me personally, if you have a base PS4, nah, it's not. It's not. I mean, but I do agree with your points, that there are some games like Resident Evil and a couple others that get by okay, like graphically and performance wise.
I mean, I actually think a good majority of them do. I remember when I first upgraded to the Pro, that we did a viewer takeover or something, which was all, is the Pro worth it if you're just playing VR games? And my answer was like, maybe, right? And I think as time went on, I started noticing more and more of the differences, and found it harder and harder to go back. However, I was so happy with PSVR1 on the OG initially that like it was hard for me to be like, oh no, if you only have the OG, you shouldn't get it. Of course you should.
I guess I was spoiled because I played on my friend brought over, he had a PS4 Pro and I had the VR, and we combined forces. And once I did that, let me just say, if you're playing on a base PS4, don't ever play on a PS4 Pro or a PS5 because you won't be able to go back. Because that's what happened to me, and that's what happened to most people I know. Is once they experienced it on a PS4 Pro, it's like, how did I ever play this on a standard base PS4?
Yeah, I mean, and I've certainly heard that. Right, I didn't find the difference night and day, like a lot of people did. I found it to be.
It's a collective thing. It's like so many games. Yes, it's a subtle difference, but when you play 300 games like I did, or however many, like that adds up for every single little game and experience.
Yeah. But what about some of the more technical things here? Like what about as far as the PSVR hardware itself is concerned? I mean, is the breakout box a total nuisance? Is light tracking acceptable in 2022? Do you find that what PlayStation VR consists of, the things it actually brings to the table, like the things we have to deal with, is that acceptable? Could you actually recommend somebody getting into VR right now pick this thing up? Even despite the fact that we've been like, oh, make sure there's no mirrors around, make sure there's no Bluetooth interference, make sure, you have to turn that Move controller on and off a couple times to stop shaking. Oh, you got to shake the aim controller to get the tracking to work properly, or it starts drifting. There's like, we've dealt with this stuff for 6 years. Is it too much for somebody to deal with now in 2022?
I think the average consumer, yes, it is too much. But if you're really interested in VR and you're an experienced gamer and, even just a smidgen of tech savviness, I think you'll be fine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I generally agree. Like I said, I don't think that I was playing Walkabout mini golf with virtual strangers the other day, and man, like my tracking totally just went fucking haywire, like in a way that I've never seen on Quest 2 before. So it's not like, it's not like every other form of tracking that we have right now is like totally infallible, right? Light tracking generally works, inside out tracking generally works, but we don't have the perfect solution yet. So I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty certain that we could say, light tracking is good enough, especially when we're talking about a cheap solution in 2022. When you just want to get into VR, you want to get into VR cheap. $200 is not asking a whole lot, and you have some extra wires to deal with, and you may have to screw with your setup a little bit. But I still think you're going to have a good experience, especially if it is your first time in VR. It can be kind of mind blowing, actually.
And that's the kind of thing is like, it is, if it's your first time experiencing VR, then yeah, it's going to probably still be able to blow you away or have a really cool effect in some way, or it could go horribly wrong and could make you sick. And, but I suppose that's any VR for anybody. Let me tell you where the strength of having a PSVR this day and age, that is the games library.
Agreed.
Not only, PlayStation VR has the best games library of any VR stuff. If you're into, like I said, the best thing it's comparable to is console gaming. When it comes to official VR releases, It is not even close as to how many AAA console quality games they have. Yes, some are kind of dated because they may use the gamepad or something, but some people might prefer to use the gamepad because that's how they traditionally play games and stuff. And I know that's where, kind of like not where VR is headed, and I think that's a good thing. But I don't know. The games library is absolutely incredible. I've spent some time checking out some of the Quest 2 library, and I've kind of taken a chance, like I've taken a risk on some games, and like it has not been great. There's some good news about that as well, but when you dive deeper into the Quest 2 library, it can get pretty bad. And yes, the same could be said for PSVR2, but I think that there's a lot more, lot more console quality gaming that on the PSVR side in the library.
Right, and let's be clear. As always, when we say Quest, we don't mean hooking your Quest up to a $1,000 PC. We're talking about the Quest library, the standalone Quest library. We never want to confuse anybody with that, because then people are like, oh, but what about this game and this game and this game and this game? It's like, well, no, those are PC VR games that you can play through your Quest. And so it's, and I do have to agree. I think Quest has its place, and it's been, and I've had some fun with it. The game library is severely lacking, though, and for obvious reasons, right? Because of
there's some good games on there, but it drops off a cliff real fast.
Yeah, there's a handful of great games.
I think part of the problem too is that like I've played there's probably a couple more games good games on there that I'm giving credit for because I've played them all on PSVR already, and so like I'm just like thinking about kind of like a downgraded version like graphically and I don't know. And I never, I've been pretty fortunate with my tracking and my setup and everything. Like, my PSVR stays in the same spot always. And yeah, even with when I was testing out the Quest, like I'm in the same spot I play PSVR, and I'm not all around the house. I'm not going places. So I don't know. Like it's just for my setup, it works.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, so we're talking about games. We're talking about libraries. PlayStation VR1 has a ton of exclusives. It has a ton of games that you're not going to find on Quest. It has a ton of games that, like, really, I mean, like, there's just like some like really great hidden gems that I guess technically are exclusives because you can't find them anywhere else. It's a great library of games on PSVR1, and don't forget here we're comparing a $200 headset. Even if we compare prices right now, isn't the Quest 2 is currently $400 for the cheapest model,
yes.
Right? And so we're talking about half of that price. And so my guess is,
but you do need a console as well.
You do need a console. And one of the things I always say though, AJ, is that like I think you're going to be pretty hard pressed if you wander America and just enter random people's houses because they just love that. If you walk into somebody's house and don't find a PlayStation 4, I'll be shocked, right? It's just one of those things that like it's likely the OG or the Slim or whatever that somebody just got for Christmas and it's hanging out somewhere, whether it gets used a lot or not. A lot of people, especially a lot of gamers, have a PlayStation 4 sitting around somewhere, whether it's the OG or the Pro. And so talking about $200, if you've gotten this long, if you've waited this long, if you're watching this right now for some reason and you've never played VR or you don't own a VR headset, you're probably the type of gamer who's like pretty conservative when it comes to buying things. You're probably not buying products on day one. You're probably not buying a console on day one. You're not buying a VR headset on day one. You are waiting for sales. You're waiting for things to get cheap. And now the PSVR1 headset is about as cheap as it's ever been. And on top of that, the PlayStation Store, these games have been out for a while. We're talking about a 6+ year game catalog.
Games are so cheap, it's ridiculous.
PlayStation has better sales on the PlayStation Store than I've ever seen on the Quest, right? I mean, it is constant. It's there's like 2 or 3 sales a month, and so if there's any game that you're looking for on PSVR1, I guarantee you shouldn't be paying full price for it, period, because I guarantee you it's either been on sale a whole fucking bunch of times over the last 6 years, or it will be on sale sometime very, very shortly. So if you're price conscious,
you're absolutely right.
They're
so good about sales.
It's a pretty good ecosystem to be walking into because everything's kind of cheap right now. So that's what I'll say about that.
Yeah, the game, not only the best games library, but can get it for dirt cheap as well. I have to agree.
Right. Now, AJ, a lot of this conversation obviously so far has been about should you buy a PSVR1 instead of a Quest 2, right? And obviously, I think most people at this point know what they want. Should they buy a Quest 2? Is wireless super important? You do want to take this thing with you, like convenience factor, social games, whatever, right?
There's room for both. There's both times. Like I said, there's so many factors that play into it.
Certainly room for both. I think I will say if you have a PlayStation 4 or Pro or PlayStation 5 sitting around and you want to get into VR super cheap, and right now, PSVR 1 is probably the best answer for you, especially again when it comes to games. The big question, though, AJ, is if you're buying a PSVR 2 on day one, should you even consider buying a PSVR 1 right now? If this is your first headset, and let me preface this conversation with Super Cool Video Bros $2 tip, says, I think it's worth it since there's no backwards compatibility. How much do you think that's going to play into the PSVR 2 stuff? How many games are going to get left on PSVR 1? Do you think it's super important that you have a PlayStation VR 1 in order to play all these games that we won't get remasters for on PSVR 2?
I am definitely very concerned about the amount of remasters and remakes and stuff and what gets left behind on the PSVR 1. That being said, it wouldn't deter me because the thing is that like if you're planning on getting a PSVR 2, first of all, I don't think you're going to have enough time between now and the launch of the PSVR 2 to play all the amazing games that are on PSVR 1.
True.
I mean, but I just, there's like, to me, it's like a no-brainer. It's like, no way. Like, get a PSVR 2. What are you doing? If you are limited on money, save up for a PS5 and a PSVR 2 right now because I've always been current with every generation. I like to stay current with the generations for the most part. There's been exceptions, of course, like a $600 PS3 that I waited a little bit, but typically I don't wait more than a year for something. I think the average consumer, probably waits about a year or more to jump into the next generation. But yeah, I'm like 110% like PSVR 2 is day one. If you haven't gotten a PS5, they're becoming more readily available. Yes, you can't walk into just any store and get one, but they're not as hard as they were to get originally either. I would 100% say do not get a PSVR 1 unless you're collecting it or like as a collector's item or something, which doesn't even make sense to me either. I would 100% dedicate to getting the PSVR 2 and have your first experience be PSVR 2 and your mind absolutely blown out of the roof.
Yeah, Mike Oxmall in the chat says, I don't think so because once PSVR 2 is here, you're not going to go back. And I think he might be right. I think once everyone experiences like the 4K resolution and everything else, just like the console quality environments and graphics and animations and everything else, as much as we want to say, hey, this is an amazing starting place for people who are just getting into VR. I'm with you, Mike. I'm with you. I think that if you're buying a PSVR 2 on day one, we're literally 4 months away from that, 4.5 months maybe. It's not terribly long, and I also don't think a lot of the great games are going to get left over on the PSVR 1. There's certainly going to be a couple. I'm a little bit worried about Immortal Legacy because I don't think that team exists anymore. I'm a little bit worried about I mean, I'm a little bit worried about a bunch of games because those dev teams, I don't think, survived the storm terribly well. But I think overall, I think it's going to be very, very few and far between. A lot of games that are just going to absolutely blow us away, and it might be hard to go back. We'll see. We'll see. But I think if you're buying a PSVR 2 day one, this is a completely different conversation, and you might as well just hold off. It's a tough situation, AJ. It's a tough question to even try to answer because everybody's situation is so different. When we start talking about this, it matters what console you're using. Are you getting a PlayStation 5 anytime soon? Are you the type of gamer like Dez, who took pride in always being a generation behind to get a cheap console, to get the games as cheap as possible? Are you the type of gamer that wants sales and discounts and just wants because I mean, dude, PSVR2 is not going to be cheap. Even if it's the cheapest we think it'll be, roughly like $400 or so, right? Between that and getting a PlayStation 5, like that's $900 and you don't have a game yet, right? We're going to be seeing a lot of AAA games. We're going to be seeing indie games running around $20 and AAA games running upwards of $70 and everything in between. It's not like it's going to be cheap to get into PSVR 2. It's going to be kind of expensive, which is actually, my reasoning for buying PlayStation 5 on day one is because I was like, I got to space these purchases out. This is going to be really expensive. So if you are the type of gamer that wants to hold back and you still haven't gotten into VR, PSVR 1's a great option. $200, an insanely cheap price. The game library is insanely good. PlayStation Store has tons and tons of discounts for you. Absolutely. If you're just getting into it now, do it. Other than that, wait for PSVR 2. That's my conclusion.
Well, I seem to have caused a little bit, stirred up a couple people here. Rooster Tail the Booster Cat says, AJ has no clue what the average consumer does. I don't know. I thought most people, there's people still probably, I don't know. I think it kind of depends on the generation, but I typically, even as a hardcore gamer, there have been times where I have waited like a year to make sure that it gets proper support, wait for enough games, wait for a game I'm interested in. Like even with PS4, I waited a year because I was waiting for stuff like No Man's Sky and Bloodborne and Rocket League. And, a lot of the launch stuff didn't really appeal to me. Like the Shadowfall, whatever it's called, Killzone game and the Infamous game. I was like, and Knack. I wasn't really crazy about those. So I waited a little bit, and I waited for I usually like to wait for the first Black Friday to get it on sale and stuff. So there have definitely been times where I've waited like a year and stuff. I don't know, Brian. Do I have no clue what the average consumer does? It's probably true.
I don't know, dude. Like, I don't
think everybody's different, and I think everybody's different.
Right, everybody is different, and like I don't consider myself the average consumer because I will go hungry, dude. I will sacrifice food, I will sacrifice heat, I will sacrifice water in order to buy the games that I want. Right, I'm extremely fortunate that I don't have kids, that I don't have a wife, that I'm not even in a relationship. Right, I mean, other than Tornado, and that's the best relationship I've ever been in. Right, and I live super cheap. Right, I've sort of played my cards all my life in order to end up in this position that I'm in, so that I can play every video game that I want to play. But I sacrifice everything else. I don't go on vacation. I don't go out to dinner. Right. So am I the average consumer? Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely fucking not. And I don't know who the average consumer is. So I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell us what the average consumer is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, back on topic here.
Give me your conclusion. I feel like I already summed up all my thoughts here. Give us your full conclusion here. PSVR 1 is $200, AJ. The best deal with Iron Man, with the Move controllers. Best deal we've probably ever seen in 6 years. Somebody has never played VR before. They're wishy-washy on PlayStation 5 and PSVR 2. What do you think, man? Tell them to get this thing or no?
If that was one of, yeah, if that's the situation, absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, that's $200 is a great price for an entry level VR headset, and yeah, and unless you live in a house made of mirrors, like you should be good. Or I don't know, like get some curtains and you, I don't know. Yeah, I would definitely. Like I said, is it a value at that price? I think so. Absolutely. Especially if you're not worried about jumping day one into PSVR 2, which is like you said in the thumbnail, months away. But if you're looking for a next gen experience, if you're looking for you know, if you're excited about PSVR 2, then I don't see any point right now. It's too late. There was for 5.5 years, I've said, yes, get a PSVR. I wouldn't hesitate for 5.5 years, even 6 years almost. But now we've reached the point where the first time in 6 years where I'm like, no, you don't have to get one anymore because PSVR 2 is coming. But like you said, if you're gonna wait years to get that, then sure. Then a PSVR 2 at 200. I mean, a PSVR at $200 makes perfect sense.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine being the person right now who just who couldn't find a PlayStation 5, so they picked up a Pro. They're watching the show right now and they're like, oh yeah, maybe I should get a PSVR1, $200. Let's do it. Let's get into VR right now for the first time ever. And there's a lot of people out there who are probably in this situation, because if you look at the number of people who've actually bought a headset in this world, compared to the number of people who own PlayStation 4s and Pros and PlayStation 5 consoles, there's a lot of people who haven't bought a VR headset yet. Can you imagine, AJ, being one of those people, getting into VR for $200 right now, and then consolidating the 6 years of VR games we had down to about 2 years, right? So every single fucking week they had something cool and new to play. They're like, oh, this week I'm going to play Moss, and next week I'm going to play Fract, and the week after I'm going to play Saints and Sinners, and the week after that I'm going to play Resident Evil 7, and the week after that, it's like, dude, you just had like 2 fucking solid years of nonstop great games to play, grabbing them while they're on sale, dude. Like, and then after they blast through their immense backlog at a ridiculously discounted price, then they go, fuck this, I'm getting PSVR 2. This shit's amazing. Like, what an amazing situation you could be in right now if you've never bought a VR headset before and you're just getting in now. You could make the next 2 years of your life 2 of the coolest fucking VR years you've ever had, ever. And if anybody is out there and is doing that, fucking let me know, because I'm so jealous of your situation. I think that would be really cool. We had too much space between releases, AJ, right? We'd go weeks without a new game. We'd go months without a new game. Like we went the better part of this year without a new game.
At some point, it almost seems daunting because of how many good games there are in the library and how many games are in the library. There's quite a few. Like I said before, there's over 500 games for PSVR. But I really think you could trim it down to like 80 to 100. That is like that I would recommend probably.
Yeah.
But that's 80 to 100 good games. That's a lot of games.
That's 2 years of almost every week, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of good games in that, for sure.
Be pretty damn good. Genetic Blast made the oozing Gamecat-like mask with the $2 tip. You never put hashtag Gamecat anywhere, man. It's like I always see your name change while we're in the middle of the show. With the $2 tip, sends us a lot of fucking emojis and the word boo. So boo right back to you, my good friend. Looper the Underground Gamecat with the €2. Also, Looper gets the short end of the stick so frequently, man. Every time I end the stream and go, oh, fuck, I didn't read that tip. It's always Looper. So Looper, just know that we fucking love you, and we always mean to read every tip, but it doesn't always happen just because either I'm forgetful or it just doesn't find a space in the show.
Your favorite Gamecat Photo Nutter, says, bought mine 6 months ago and loving it.
See, this is what I'm talking about. What a great fucking time to buy it. Although
there are dozens of him.
There's dozens. Looper getting the short end of the stick again. I didn't even get to finish reading his tip. He said €2. He said, please shame Media Molecule for not including VR support in All Hallows Dreams.
Shame.
It is pretty ridiculous, man.
Shame.
Pretty fucking ridiculous.
Shame. That is shameful. And they don't have plans or roadmap for... See, that's the kind of shit that scares me. Is like, this is a first-party studio that doesn't already have PSVR2 ready to go at launch. It's like, what are you doing over there, guys? Come on.
I mean, maybe they're adding multiplayer support, like everyone's been begging for.
Are they even doing that?
I don't know. I don't think they're sitting around with their thumbs up their ass. If that answers your question, they're doing something. AJ,
It certainly seems like they are.
see, I haven't gotten exactly what I want yet. This studio's fucking lazy. You got cold yogurt with the $5 tip. Says, how much is the bundle? It's as if we just started the show, AJ. It's $200. He goes, this can make as a gift if low enough price. $200. You got cold yogurt, and it's again, the headset, everything you need, all the wires and the camera and the adapter and Iron Man voucher and Demo Disc 3 voucher. It's good stuff. Well, that was a fun conversation, AJ. It's fun removing ourselves from the jaded world we live in, where VR is old news and PSVR2 is the only thing that's going to save us, and putting ourselves in the shoes, even if just momentarily, of the new VR gamer who's still very excited about things like
Beat Saber.
Did you see all the
will buy Beat Saber and Job Simulator?
Did you see all the comments in the chat saying we're going to miss the Move controllers because they don't? No other VR controller feels like a lightsaber hilt.
Yeah,
we are going to miss that. That was one of the great things about Beat Saber. You actually use that weight while you're playing it. It doesn't feel right when I play on Quest.
It does feel like a sword hilt, which makes it great for sword fighting.
That's right. AJ, are you ready for some PSVR 20 questions?
I is ready.
Good, because you're the host. I just have to make guesses. You have to answer. Actually, I think you have a harder time answering questions than asking them for some reason. I don't know why that is. AJ, don't AJ this. I'm going to put 6 minutes up on the clock up on the counter the way that Jeremy likes it. And you guys out there, I need all the help I can get. I've got 6 minutes, or we've got 6 minutes, in only 20 yes or no questions to figure out what PSVR game this underground Gamecat is thinking of.
This should be pretty straightforward.
That means I'm not going to get it. Fuck.
Oh, God, no. I know the first question. Now that I said that, I know the first question you're going to ask, and I'm going to be confused.
On your mark and set, go. Is this a horror game?
No, it's not a horror game.
Oh, good. He's not confused.
We'll get there.
Does this use analog sticks?
It does use analog sticks.
Not horror, yes, analog. Okay, let's clarify this. Does it have aim support?
It does not have aim support.
Okay, so we're thinking DualShock only. Okay, so that's all we know so far. It's DualShock 4 only, not horror. Old Darth asks, is this game based on a known IP?
I'm going to say no. I mean, loosely based, sort of. But no, it is not directly based on an IP. Was that a short enough answer for you?
So it sounds like this developer's trying to rip somebody off. Is there shooting in this game, AJ? Do you shoot other things?
You do shoot other things in this game.
Okay. Okay, we're going to go with Scott just to go. PSN Harry Fellow, PSVR Gamecat for life. Does it have dinosaurs, robots, zombies, cowboys, ninjas, or dragons in the game? Dinosaurs, robots, zombies, cowboys, ninjas, dragons.
Look, I'm going to say no. But if anything, it has robots. But no, I don't think it has any of that.
Okay. I think we just eliminated quite a few things.
You probably did. Or just made it harder to think about a game, but...
It can't be rigs. Mechs are absolutely robots. He would not have questioned that at all.
I think so. I mean, it's not rigs, but...
Jesus. God.
But is a mech the same as a robot? I guess, yeah. Giant robot, yeah.
Oh my God. We're gonna go with Tiffany's question. Can you play as a woman?
You cannot play as a woman. I don't think so.
Okay. God.
All right, come on, guys. I'm trying to be straightforward here.
Is there any racing in this game?
No. Yeah, Darkwing checks. Says mechs are vehicles, not robots. I mean, but what if it's a self-controlled mech? It's kind of a robot. Oh, sorry. Okay, I forgot. We were playing a game here. Okay, you're on 8 questions.
Is there any multiplayer in this game?
There's not multiplayer in this game.
Okay, no multiplayer. That eliminates so many things. It can't be Wanderer, Mark, because it's DualShock only.
You never asked if it was moves.
No, it's not. Well, it uses.
You only asked joysticks. You said it uses joysticks and it doesn't have aim support.
Right. So it may very well, but Wanderer doesn't have DualShock support. Can you use the moves in this game?
No.
I hate you so much.
It's DualShock only. God, I thought you had that.
Is it first person?
It is not first person. I would say. No.
Okay. Well, Moss is first person, guys. Astrobot is first person. So
I wouldn't say those are well. Okay, it's not like that. I mean, well, shit. Moss and Astrobot, I do not consider first-person games.
Okay.
I mean, technically yes, but just keep it simple. Don't overthink things. Coming from me.
I know, right? I don't know anything about this game anymore. I know that it's a DualShock only, and there's a lot of shooting in it, and there's not a lot of anything else.
How much time do you have left?
Like a minute.
You're at 11 questions.
Okay, so guys, we need to think third person here. What game's a third person? Oh, hold on a second. Does this have a lot of static camera angles in it?
No.
Okay, not Theseus, guys. Because that was like the super third person.
Theseus.
Man. Awesome Tatum says, "Can you fly in this game?"
I don't believe so.
Okay.
No.
Is it a puzzle game?
It's not a puzzle game. I don't play that crap.
Has developer
warmer.
has developer released other PSVR games?
Yes. 15.
Dude, I am out of time, and I'm like legit just totally lost. Anyway.
I see some people getting really close. They're getting warmer.
Is it Lucky's Tale?
It is not.
What is it,
Lucky's
AJ?
Tale, a really bad game that has amazing time trials. Lucky Tale I'm talking about. I am talking about Llamasoft, a.k.a.
Wow.
Jeff Minter's Polybius, which is an amazing arcade third-person shooter that uses the DualShock only, is trippy as hell, runs at 120 frames per second, 2 times super sampling for ultra smooth, sharp visuals on every PS4. I freaking love this game. Also based, I think the name comes from, isn't that like the LSD experiment? Something where the government gave people LSD? Or no, it was like something about making people kill other people. I don't remember.
Yeah. The myth is that the government placed these arcade cabinets in like different 7-Elevens and different places all around the country. And the game in it's called Polybius. No one remembers exactly what the game was, but it was super addictive, and it caused people to do crazy things with some sort of mind control. We can't. The myth is amazing. There's never been any proof that it's real, though.
Well, I love this game, and I highly recommend it. It's only $15, and it's a badass arcade game, and it's super fun. Play it with some headphones.
Great game. I wasn't anywhere close to this. Like zero. I think I could have had 30 more questions, and I still wouldn't have gotten it. But it's a great game, and I 100% agree. You should
I
definitely
spared
play this.
you. I was gonna go Bug Box VR because you went hard last week. You went hard mode on me last week.
Yeah, what was last week?
But then I was like, well, it was something I could have definitely gotten.
Yeah.
It was Bullet Roulette.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, so I was like, I'm gonna get him back. I'm gonna do Bugs Box,
Which I never would have gotten.
Yeah, and I was gonna say you have like a 0% chance of guessing it, but then I was like, oh, Polybius is a great game. I love that game, and
Indeed.
and he didn't go. Bullet Roulette was a pretty fair one, I think.
I think so. I think Polybius was also very fair, especially considering, wasn't there like a limited run version of this game or something? Like,
Was there? Oh, I'm so mad if I missed that.
I don't know. I feel like it was somewhere. I'm probably just making it up. This is probably Mandela effect, misremembering the past. AJ, it's been a fun way to spend my Monday. As if you didn't know, well, now you will. We are kicking off Halloween week here. For the next week, I'm going to be live streaming every single day a different horror game on Without Parole. Please submit your questions in the form of answers over on Discord. Click the link in the description below to join our Discord. Throw me some suggestions of horror games you want me to play. Again, in the form of answers, not questions, because that would just get confusing. This isn't Jeopardy, you motherfuckers. What are you doing with your lives? AJ, what do you got going on over at the Underground? PSVR Underground.
Well, obviously it's been really tough waiting for PSVR2, so I've gotten some ideas for some stuff finally, and I'm really, really excited. I've talked about it a little bit that I've been playing some Quest 2 games, and that is for a reason, and it is something that will be featured on my channel within the next couple weeks leading up all the way to probably the end of December. And yeah, really, really excited to share my thoughts on some Quest 2 games coming to PlayStation VR 2. I've been playing the shit out of them, and got some videos planned on that. So that should be really fun. And yeah, give you a bit of a heads up on some games and what they're like, and if you should be excited for them on PSVR 2 or if you should pass.
Excellent. If you don't already subscribe to AJ at the Underground, click that link in the description below and join him over there. Spread the VR love far and wide to each and all my co-hosts, but not beyond that. Not beyond that. Just kidding. I don't give a fuck. All right, man. Well, listen. A lot of shit going on this week. We're going to have a lot of fun, a lot of horror games. And dude, hey, AJ, I mean, I know you're sick of hearing rumors and shit like that about a showcase, a Sony showcase, but I think a lot of people have been saying that Sony's waiting to get God of War out of the way before they start talking about PSVR 2, right? They want to make sure that that game has a successful launch before they start talking about this big peripheral they're about to launch. God of War's coming out in just a couple weeks, man. Like, God of War is almost out.
The PSVR 2 is coming out in a couple fucking weeks, Brian. They got to talk about it at some point. Like, what are they going to do?
I don't know, man. You've made me believe that they're not going to ever talk about it. They're just going to put it out. We're going to walk into a store one day, and it's just going to be on store shelves.
And I have ended your suffering.
That is the AJ conspiracy theory, pretty much to a T. They're not going to ever say the words PSVR 2 again. They're just going to quietly release it, and no one will buy it. You're like, yep, pretty much. Maybe a PlayStation blog post. That's it. All right. Well,
sounds about right.
Anyway, I think the rough.
I think at some point they will have a big show for it. You know what I mean? They have to. It's a brand new hardware product that's brand new. They want to sell it, and I think Jay had it right. Where the reason they're doing the approach they're doing is because they're just that confident that they're that confident in their product that they don't really give a shit about worrying about certain little things.
Yeah. Fallout 4 VR potential launch title. Who knows? Who knows? Endeavor one in the chat says, please be excited for nothing.
Maybe Skyrim PSVR2. Maybe.
Yeah, I'll take Fallout over Skyrim any day of the week. Skyrim's fine. Fallout's always been my jam. Love post-apocalyptic robots, dinosaurs, cowboys, and aliens. Good stuff. All right, dude, let's get out of here. Jesus Christ. Thank you guys so much for everybody hanging out. Everybody who changed your name to Gamecat. Of course, all the moderators who make my life so much easier. I love you so very much. I don't know what to do without you. Also, the Patreon supporters, been scrolling by there in the bottom of the screen. $3 plus gets you there. $5 plus gets you bonus videos, which I swear will actually show up on Patreon one day. Filming a litter box episode for all of the Patreon supporters about all of my haunting experiences that you guys heard a sliver of on Friday's episode. Also, thank you to everybody who participated during the chat today, everybody who tipped. Thank you to everybody who tried to help me out during 20 questions. And thank you to everybody who sat back and watched the show and didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there and we love you just as much. AJ, it's Monday. There's only one way to end the show on Monday. Can I cue the cat?
Cue the cat, Brian, because I want to say see you guys on Wednesday. To Mike Kelly VR. Thank you. Says thanks, guys. Getting emotional in here, I know. Bob Zarkoff, the Underground Gamecat Elite Name Squad in the house. Good night to you, my friend. Nick the Gamecat. How says why we love coming.
I mean,
Emily Baxter, hashtag the cartoony game. Which game kitten says cue the sirens. Never won. Thank you so much for always hanging out and being awesome. Hector, Robos, Glader to you. Guys on Fist Bump to you. GB the oozing game cat like mass. Oh, that makes me want to watch The Blob again. Watch The Blob 1988. It's great. Mike Oxmall. See you, AJ, my homie. Ha! See that, Brian? He says only bite of me. You can suck it. Mark Pringles, leave later, Mike. You're my favorite. You're my favorite, Mike.
See, I don't play favorites. Mark, I love you all. I don't just love one of you. I love all of you.
Mark Pringles, leave. Thank you, man. Glad you enjoyed hanging out and being a part of it. We appreciate you as well. Killer Sam says, I came in late. See you, boys. No problem, man. We'll catch you on the flip side. Alberto Mapom, the game gato. Guy got cojones. Scott Jessica, PSN, NFL, PSVR, Gamecat for life. Latas, Tatas, he says. Move Master Mick, the shape throwing PSVR game cat, says TTFN. Folks, I still don't remember what that means. Okay, thank you. Shapeshifter, the Animorph game cat. I'm still just going to call you the Animorph game cat. Aceville of the Corn Cat in the house tonight says, happy hallowed days. I love it, Ace. Awesome Tatum says, boo. Did he get you? Did he get you?
I mean,
John Young says, Cunado. Jesse J, the Terror Mage Game Cat says, good night, gatos. Old Dart says, bye-bye. Dan Kiefer says, don't thank AJ for his answers in 20 questions. I love you guys. You're the best. Scott Thorpe says, back to the paranormal vid. Cheers, guys.
All right, so Mike Kelly said, bye tornado, so I just got to come back real quick here.
Oh.
Who's your cooker? Who ate all my Chips Ahoy? Who ate all my Chips Ahoy? Oh, no, that was me. Tornado's actually looking at this. She was looking at the screen, being like, why am I on the screen? Isn't that right? Tornado Cam. See? We should have a Patreon tier where they get access to Tornado Cam. Oh, leaving them already? All right. See you guys.
Meow. Have you stopped the...
I have not stopped it. I haven't stopped it. I barely put the camera back yet. They're still here.
Right.
They're all still here.
He's really AJing the fuck out of this thing.
I'm really AJing the fuck out of this ending. Yep. I'm glad you've adopted that into your everyday vernacular.
Dang it. I take it back.